It's a yearly tradition for me to cover the Game Awards, so of course this video is to be expected. Unlike the previous Game Awards though, we're not hosting it in front of a bunch of live audiences. Instead, we are doing it digitally for reasons that I don't have to explain to you unless you're one of those people who fell into a coma last year and just woke up. I'm gonna have to give a huge thank you to the Game Awards for ruining my stream schedule to the point where I have to stream early just for the sake of recording this. Also, unlike my last Game Awards recap, I won't go into a minute-by-minute summary of the event. After sitting through 3+ hours of this goddamn show, I realized that there's nothing much happens at all. Here's an utterly dick move. They promised to start the show proper on 8 AM my time, but the entire thing already starts 30 minutes before. Not only that they have some of the world premieres in there, they also announced the winners for 5 of the categories on the freaking pre-show. That's like cutting off the Joker heist in The Dark Knight so you can show them in the commercial break. Whatever, I suppose I have to blame myself for being more late than usual. So in this recap, I'm gonna organize things a bit and focus on the announcements, the good stuff, the bad stuff, and sum it up at the very end. The one thing that people are really looking forward to in the Game Awards is the world premiere. I of course can't mention all of the games that are being announced here, so let's just focus on the ones that pique my interest the most. Here's an amazing drinking game for you. Take a shot every single time a co-op game is announced. By the end of this video, you'll probably have to be brought into hospital for alcohol poisoning. The world premiere began with Devolver Digital, of all people, announcing a couple of games in a mock Game Awards parody. Yes, that's right. Devolver Digital comes in with a Game Awards parody. It's a very interesting move to put a satire of a show as a part of the actual show that it's satirizing. It's like playing The Last of Us Part 2, but instead of switching to Abby, you switch to Juliet Starling from Lollipop Chainsaw. Hey, that sounds like an infinitely better game. Regardless, Devolver Digital always freaking delivers, and this one is no exception. It's genuinely amazing. I love every second of it. I highly recommend you guys to watch it. Now to the actual world premiere, or at least the ones that I find interesting. There's a game called Chia, which is supposed to be based on New Caledonia, and it looks like Moana if they take some gameplay lessons from the Prey remake. The really vibrant and colorful art style, mixed with a familiar tropical vibe and atmosphere that hits my Balinese heart, is combined with the ability to straight up possess objects or even animals around. And that's when I know that those damn typhons have successfully taken over the world, and they'll eventually take over my beautiful island. Are you really listening to me, or are you listening to a version of me that has already been taken over by an alien goo? You may never know. Do you like Panzer Dragoon? Do you like How to Train Your Dragon? Wouldn't it be freaking awesome if you can not only control the dragons, but also fight with other people who control the dragons? Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, Century Age of Ashes will totally confuse you. It looks pretty freaking stunning, not gonna lie, but why is the title Century Age of Ashes? It sounds more like what you will turn into when you get blown off by a dragon. By that logic, Google Chrome should be renamed Out of RAM. Oh hey, we got ourselves a new Smash fighter, which is tradition for the Game Awards at this point. At this moment, people should really turn Smash reveals into a roulette table. Place your bets on either the specific character that you think will show up or their characteristics. Humans or non-humans, male or female, or even neither, because it is possible for a fighter to be genderless, especially in current year. That is, unless if you think that ROB has a massive ROD under that machinery and identifies as semi-binary. If you are going to bet on the Smash roulette table, then the safest choice would be betting on a fighter being a character from a Japanese franchise, because that's like 99% of the characters in Smash, until recently, because Japanese franchises are from Japanese companies, and making deals with Japanese companies is a pretty easy task for Nintendo's legal team, alongside DMCA striking Smash tournaments, Nintendo game soundtracks, and literally anything that they own in their sites. So the new Smash fighter is of course coming from a Japanese franchise, and the Japanese franchise is the same one that they struck a deal with previously. Huh. Oh, that is true. Oh, wait.
Seth? Yeah! Okay. That's cool. Sephiroth descends. That's cool.
Now, I don't dismiss the idea of Sephiroth being in Smash as pretty cool. I mean, seeing him straight up nearly impaling Mario with his giant sword is quite a sight to behold. I just find it odd that Nintendo only decided to just now put in Sephiroth in the mix, because they could have just rang Square Enix at any point during the development of Smash Ultimate and say, hey, considering that you agreed to put your main character in, can we holler in another one? It must be a freaking breeze for the legal team to do so, especially when they're too busy giving this company more dirt to its face than a Nintendo floor mat during last year's Black Friday. Here's one trailer that caught me and my brother completely off guard. The game shows a typical futuristic dystopia where corporations are taking over the world. The camera zooms inside the building to show that there are tons and tons of destruction and murder happening left and right. What could have caused such chaos? Who would dare to breach through this futuristic looking building and causing billions of dollars worth of property damage? Where is this really disorienting camera going to point us to?
It's Cyberpunk. Or whatever.
Agent Dark.
No!
That's cool.
That is cool!
That's cool.
Woo! That is cool! This one has me and my brother debating. Turtle Rock Studios? Wait, they're the developers of Left 4 Dead.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, it looks like Left 4 Dead.
It looks like Left 4 Dead. Okay, then what is this then? A Left 4 Dead prequel?
No, it's Left 4. It's not Left 4 Dead, but it's Left 4 Dead. Kind of like, it's not Demon Souls, but it's Dark Souls.
A spiritual successor, to be precise. This is Back 4 Blood, which is a spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead. I don't know why Valve won't let them to have the Left 4 Dead title. I guess it's because they don't want it to be the very first IP to be able to count to free. Also, this is gonna be one of the first out of the many co-op shooters in this Game Awards. Take a shot! Here's another co-op shooter taking place in the winter, where you shoot monsters. Double shot! Here's another co-op game that is not a shooter. It's more of a medieval heist game that is kind of like Thief, but you can totally play it in co-op, and in fact, the game sells it on that feature. And you can shoot arrows, so I guess I'll count that. Triple shot. Apparently, some of the people behind Dead Space and Call of Duty decide to make a space survival horror game. But this time we only have a pre-rendered footage, so we don't know how the game goes, what kind of game would it be, and whether or not its horror elements will be ruined thanks to corporate interference. Warhammer Darktide is a co-op shooter, and you know what that means. Dunk that shot right in your throat. BioWare announces 2 games in the Game Awards. The first one is a remake of Dragon Age? A sequel? I don't really know, but they're making a Dragon Age game. Nice to see them going back into things that actually work for them, rather than things that the publishers demand them to make. But considering BioWare's rather disappointing track record, I am not holding my breath. Also, here's another co-op shooter. This time, it's isometric. Take a shot. Warframe gets an update featuring 3 new weapons from Unreal Tournament, a game franchise that doesn't have any news in the past couple of days. And by free weapons, I mean 2 of the interesting ones, the shock rifle and the flak cannon. The rocket launcher is just a rocket launcher. Nothing special about it. Don't see why it has to be featured, especially when Warframe has more interesting weapons. Give us the freaking Link gun. And since you can play co-op in Warframe, this is another shot for you. Call of Duty Warzone receives an update and you can play co-op in there, so take another shot, and I hope you are still with me and still sober throughout this recap. This is a trailer for a game starring Vin Diesel, in which he runs around and stabs stuff. Oh, I freaking wish. This trailer is bad. Like, really freaking bad. This kid, my god, this kid is an idiot. Every single time I want this kid to be eaten by a freaking T-Rex, it eats someone else instead. Literally, this kid's idiocy actually costs human lives, and she has the audacity to stick her tongue out to the camera. How about you you smug brat? This god-awful trailer is actually a trailer for Ark 2. Yes, Ark of all games have Vin Diesel in the promotion, which is such a bizarre decision. Is this another case of the gaming industry hiring celebrities to make the game more appealing because Cyberpunk did it and people loved it? What worries me even more is when they're also making an animated series out of it with a freaking all-star cast. After that god-awful excuse that you call a trailer, trying to make an animated series out of this is pretty pretty freaking ambitious, but so is fighting a T-Rex with a spear by your lonesome. Hey, do you still have some drinks left? Do you want to see another ad for a co-op shooter? It's from People Can Fly, the guys who made Painkiller and Bulletstorm. You know what that means. Take a shot. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, there's still more. Here's Evil Dead, the video game, another co-op shooter based on the popular franchise. Take a shot. Still not wasted yet? Well, don't worry. Ghosts and Goblins receives a remaster that is coming next year. That is the kind of game that I guarantee will make you to drink several more after it wrecks you into tiny little skeletons.
In terms of winners, I've been not very impressed. It's just Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us. In terms of game announcement, 4-player co-op PvE, 4-player co-op PvE, 4-player co-op PvE.
I have to admit, Joseph Ferris's next game, It Takes Two, legitimately intrigues me, although that's mostly because I'm trying to find a way to get over the fact that Haven was such a disappointing game. See my review for more details. It's a game about an already married couple who are having relationship issues, having to work together in order to get through a lot of the deadly obstacles. This is a really brutal marriage counseling, and it already sounds a lot better in premise than couple escapes from society and live happily ever after the end. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion is getting a remaster. Not really, it's just an Oblivion expansion for Elder Scrolls Online, if you're interested in that type of thing. Destiny 2 is a shooter that you can play co-op, and it announces new stuff. Take a shot. I hope you're not feeling too dizzy. Scarlet Nexus is a Bandai Namco game that looks like a typical anime hack and slash that apparently offers branching narrative? Don't know, but we'll see. There's an ad for Xbox Game Pass games, and this is one of those blink it and you'll miss it moment, but the mainline Yakuza games are gonna be on PC, and all of them are gonna be on Xbox Game Pass. Seriously, Xbox Game Pass is getting better and better, and if you're on a tight budget, you absolutely should take that amazing deal. Thank you, Thunder, for spelling all of the premieres and ads in a nutshell. Take another shot. Just Cause Mobile? Why? The last Just Cause wasn't even that good, and now you decide to just cash in and turn into the dark side. And considering that this is another co-op shooter, this is probably one of the most painful shots that you're gonna have to take, Just Cause fans. Fallout 76 has new content, and you can play that co-op, so take another shot. And finally, the last world premiere, one that will go with a freaking bang. Or at least I expected it as such, until the trailer gives away what it is. Come on.
Andromeda 2, baby.
Mass Effect.
See?
It's Mass Effect.
See?
It's
That's the
Mass
still there,
Effect.
right?
No, that's the relay. Mass
Okay.
relay.
Oh yeah, Mass Relay. I called it, fam.
Yep. Liara!
What?
Liara.
Remaster?
Remastered? Will continue. Seriously?
No, seriously, that's it. Mass Effect will continue. It's a little too late trying to fix the god-awful ending that you had previously, or in fact, a lot of the things that went completely wrong with Mass Effect 3. But hey, at least second best girl is gonna be in it. Tali is always gonna be my first, and I refuse to engage with anyone who argues otherwise. Devolver Digital's Game Awards parody. I've talked about this, go watch that, it's amazing. Hades beating Doom and Half-Life Alyx in Best Action. This is one of those accomplishments that you have every right to flex to everyone. Hades managed to beat 2 games from some of the most influential gaming franchises in history in Best Action Game. That is really freaking cool, Supergiant Games. Hades is not really my type of game, being a roguelike, and I'm not that much of a fan of roguelikes, but it manages to do enough things to make it genuinely interesting, with a strong narrative focus and a good story to accompany you through all of the deaths. Alyx has all of that, but it's in VR, and therefore not a lot of people can play it. Doom Eternal has great action, but not a lot of strong characterization or narrative. So congratulations to the team at Supergiant for winning this one, and by the way, I absolutely love your move, putting the early access version on Epic Store and the full version on Steam. That is some quality trolling there. No Man's Sky winning an award. Seriously, No Man's Sky has undergone some of the most amazing redemption arc in any any gaming history ever. They actually keep updating their games with new content. They actually care for the players. The things that they promise are actually delivered for the most part. A lot of game developers would just abandon their games, but No Man's Sky persists and does what any good game developer should do, which is to take criticisms to improve and be better. So congrats to the team at No Man's Sky, a well-deserved award. This scene from the Accessibility Awards. Now, the context of this image is that this is the team behind the accessibility features in The Last of Us 2, which for the record is the only award that The Last of Us 2 deserves this year. Seriously, their accessibility options are so insane, it can even be considered cheating. The reason why this image is so amazing, it's because it's a good representation in how Naughty Dog treats its employees. Those who like crunch get inside. Those who don't will be left freezing outside in the middle of December. Now, I get that the entire purpose of them not being in the same room like this is for isolation. It's just that it looks so silly and memeable that everyone is making memes of them in social media. The premieres. The Game Awards every year needs to have at least one premiere that makes me go, whoa, that looks cool. And this year certainly accomplished that. I am genuinely excited with Perfect Dark. I want to see what the game developers had in mind to revamp this old franchise. Sephiroth being in Smash is a bit weird, but it's still pretty cool, and let me remind you that I can still say that Nintendo games are cool while also saying that Nintendo company drools. And this is one of those blink it and you'll miss it moments, so let me remind you all that Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and 6 are coming to PC and they'll be on Game Pass. Excellent! The Last of Us Part 2 robbing lots and lots of awards. The Last of Us 2 wins Best Action Adventure, Innovation in Accessibility, Best Performance, Best Audio Design, Best Narrative, Best Game Direction, and of course, Game of the Year. Christ almighty, the sweep on this one. It's almost as if it's a media darling or something. Considering that a lot of the voters for the winners in the Game Awards are from the media, it explains quite a lot of things. Let's get into some of these. Best Action Adventure, Ghost of Tsushima, Ori 2, and Jedi Die Twice that got nominated so late in the game, unfortunately. Any of these three would absolutely kill it as Best Action Adventure. And The Last of Us 2's gameplay doesn't change much from the original, aside from prettier graphics. Best Audio Design. Doom Eternal's sound effects are crafted out of lawnmower noises, and it still sounds more kick-ass than whatever The Last of Us 2 is offering. Just give one award to Doom Eternal for God's sake. Best Narrative? Oh yes, The Last of Us 2's narrative that really divided the fanbase and killed off some of its most beloved characters in the first one in favor of characters that no one cares about. Ghost of Tsushima might not incite as much rage, but at least it's a well-crafted and decent plot with genuinely interesting characters that you actually care about. Hades, being a roguelike with a solid narrative and interesting characters, also deserves that award instead of Golf Club Simulator 2. Best Game Direction. Wow, Game Awards, you're gonna give that award to Naughty Dog? For what? Directing a game or directing its entire company? And finally, Game of the Year. There's a scene from the end of Cars where the asshole car wins the cup and they just reluctantly give it to him and treating it like it's just an empty cup while the audiences on the stage boos him off, including his own fans. That's how the Game Awards go. It gives the award to The Last of Us 2 not because the game is good, far from it, it's because the game gets the primary advantage of being the journo game, one that breaks new grounds in narrative design and subverts expectations. This really is the Last Jedi of video games. If they're making The Last of Us 3, hopefully it'll go the same way as The Rise of Skywalker so that people can realize how crap this entire thing is. It's not all bad though. There are 3 awards that The Last of Us 2 got beaten over. They got beaten in Best Score by freaking Final Fantasy VII of all games. I suppose people's love towards Final Fantasy music just simply cannot compare towards their love for whatever music that The Last of Us 2 has. Then they got beaten in Best Art Direction and Player Choice by Ghost of Tsushima, and a well-deserved beating too, because Ghost of Tsushima rules and The Last of Us 2 drools. I love how Neil Druckmann felt so empty when he wins the award, as if he doesn't deserve it. Maybe it's because he felt very sad that the players don't like his game and chose Ghost of Tsushima instead. Spiritfarer wins 0 awards. Spiritfarer is one of my favorite games of this year. It's a ridiculously addictive base management farming sim game that manages to combine all of those those elements with a wholesome but heartbreaking story about redemption and resolving your past issues. Now, this game would have zero chance against Hades. As much as I love Spiritfarer, and that's the one that I play the most, Hades eclipses it in so many ways. So I thought this game would have at least some chance to win the Games for Impact award. But nope, that award goes to Donut's ultra-progressive narrative-driven game Life is Strange 2.5, aka Tell Me Why. As in, tell me why this game receives an award for being tokenly progressive. Latin... Good lord, I refuse to even say that word because every single time I say it, it feels like the cartel is breathing down my neck. The idea is to make the description more gender inclusive, and by that I mean gender inclusive to American hipsters who just so happen to be Hispanic. This word is an absolutely disgusting slur, and the only reason why it hasn't been treated as such is because most land people live in the third world, and they have better things to complain about than the opinions of fragile American kids. The Game Awards 2020 is ridiculously dull and predictable. Instead of spicing the winners up, it's Last of Us 2, Last of Us 2, Last of Us 2, and more Last of Us 2. Because Last of Us 2 is an absolute darling to game journals and a pretentious trash to almost everyone else. Last year at least made some attempt to surprise us. Sekiro winning the Game Awards was a legitimate shock to everyone, including myself. In this one, they really chose to play it safe, mostly because game journals have never played any game in the mainstream that subverts their expectations more than The Last of Us 2, because they're not gamers. They're only paid to play video games. As for the announcements, there are some good ones, but it's mostly populated with co-op shooters, because apparently that's the thing that the kids love these days. Co-op shooters, co-op shooters, co-op shooters. I wouldn't be surprised if Army of Two is making a comeback, but they don't. For now. This entire thing is a waste of time. It wastes 3 hours and 30 minutes of my life, my brother's life, and an entire day for me to edit them and compile them all together. I could have spent all of that time playing more Cyberpunk with my cyber-augmented water-breathing cat.